Okay, we are live, Michael. We are live.
We're in.
So welcome everybody to the first ever segment of Apple Juice. I have a Apple Juice Breaks. I have a very, very special guest for us today. This is the kind of guy that puts flaming hot Doritos in the fridge so they can cool down. He's the kind of guy that says, "We got company" when the police knock on the door. It is, of course, Michael PokeOz. Michael, how you doing today, man?
Yeah, really well, Rob. How are you?
I am doing great. I'm a little tired. I messed up the time yesterday, so I'm up at 5 over here. It's about 7 your time.
7 p.m. down here, Australian Eastern Standard Time. So hopefully we got some Aussie viewers on.
We might. We've got a Brit in there. We got Baz Toys just joined. He's in there, so he's from England.
Oh yeah, yep.
He's on.
Yeah, he's up early.
Yeah, we got a couple of guys. Yeah, this is good.
Early bird catches the worm, they say.
So what are you drinking today, Michael?
Well, mate, I knocked off work at 5:30. Quickly drove home, got changed. Quick 45-minute gym session. So just a bit of water, mate, to rehydrate after the gym, and then straight home, changed, and I'm here with you. So
good.
Nothing exciting. I know you like your whiskey or your gin, so
yeah, but I
probably doesn't go down too well at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I'm not.
What have you got?
Yeah. So I've actually got a juice box today. So I got a juice box and
Beautiful.
a cup of tea. So that's what I'll be drinking. But
as Snoop Dogg said, though, juice and gin.
Juice and gin. That's exactly it.
I don't know about 5 o'clock in the morning though, but yeah, just water for me, mate. Rehydrating.
Okay, so I got a few questions for you today. I've been dying to chat to you, man, because you're someone who like many other guys out there making content right now. You inspired me, so I'm really excited to chat to you, and really grateful you made the time. So I got some questions here for you, but before we get tucked into that, do you mind, just for those of you that may be tuning in later or perhaps don't know who you are, I don't think there's many in this space, but do you mind just giving us a quick rundown of who you are and kind of your history in the hobby?
Yeah, well, I might start really quickly on my history on YouTube, and then I'll jump into the history on the hobby really quickly. It'll only take a couple of minutes, but it was actually a really, really good shift, because I've said this a few times on my videos that I suppose it was just a video that inspired me. It might have even been like an Instagram reel or a TikTok, but there's a guy about 4 years ago, and he just made the conscious decision to stop consuming content and start creating content. And then he showed his YouTube sort of AdSense revenue that he'd made, and by his 4th year doing YouTube, he was up to about 700 or 800,000 US dollars. And not only was, sure, there was a great financial gain for him there, but the whole premise of it was behind, being creative, not consuming content. And we all realise that, we go home, we sit on the couch, and whether it's after dinner or knocked off work, and before you know it, you've been scrolling through your phone for like 2 hours, just watching mindless garbage, and it can't be good for our health. So that was my whole idea behind YouTube. I wanted to, I suppose, share my knowledge around the hobby, which I'll get into in a second, history in it, and do something creative rather than consuming content. And I suppose that's where we are. Hey, viewers, just really quickly, Rob's looking super fresh. The lighting's great. My tripod, literally, as I was setting up this video, my tripod just cooked it. The bit that holds the camera on snapped off, so I'm looking up on an angle. It's shocking, so massive apologies. But the main thing is we can talk and we can hear each other. So anyway, back into my history in the hobby. Like most people, mate, you're a couple of years older than me, but we're similar vintages. Let's call ourselves mid-30s. So that makes you a little bit younger and me maybe a year and a half older. But we'll go with mid-30s. Obviously started with collecting as probably a 9 or a 10-year-old, ducking down to the local card store and, seeing cards in folders and buying singles and buying packs and saving up pocket money. And then I probably took a little bit of a hiatus from the hobby around E-Series, which is a shame because they're beautiful sets, of course, base set and Skyridge and Aquapolis, and it's a shame. But I got straight back into it when I was because it wasn't cool in high school to collect Pokemon cards anymore.
It wasn't cool in first school either. The girls were not into it.
Nah. Probably not into it now either. But
somewhere. That's but yeah,
yeah, exactly. But yeah, I really picked it back up probably when I was about 17, so in college, because I really got hard into Magic the Gathering in college. So it re-inspired my love for the TCG. So I probably only had about a 4-year hiatus, but got back into it around probably EX Team Rocket Returns. So consequently, you know, first Gold Star set. And yeah, I started buying EX series booster boxes probably the next 5 or 6 years. And I used to crack open EX series booster boxes, and I used to sell singles. So I probably started my eBay when I was 18 or 19 and was just selling heaps of singles, and I got lucky. I pulled a fair few Gold Stars. We all know how hard they are. They're actually got really similar pull rates to alternate art Pokemon cards, albeit there wasn't the volume of Gold Stars in a set compared to alternate arts. But yeah, it's about 3 to 4 booster boxes. So if you got a case of, you know, EX Team Rocket Returns or EX Holland Phantoms or whatever it might be, you're pretty much guaranteed a Gold Star. Like you get one most likely, about 1 in 3 or 4 booster boxes. Sometimes you get super unlucky, but I pulled the Celebi twice. I pulled the Mewtwo. So, but they're all sold, gone. All the booster boxes are open. And I can remember when I was about 22, it was about 200 Australian dollars for a, say, EX Holland Phantoms booster box, which is just ridiculous to think of now. So it just pains me it almost pains me to talk about it, opening these by the case. But I remember I used to always open the cases just to obviously verify the contents, and I sat 6 EX Holland Phantom booster boxes up in the cupboard, and I'm like, right, they're staying there, never to be opened. And I couldn't get to sleep that night. I'm sitting there, Went to uni the next morning. As soon as I got home from uni, I was like, just one last box. Opened it, and then before I knew it, all 6 boxes were open.
Yeah, that's how it goes. Yeah, it's like just one.
Yeah,
just one.
yeah. So,
what did you study?
Anyway, I did an education degree.
Really? Okay, cool.
Yeah, yeah. So
what was your part the car sales then? So what was your part the Toyota?
It's a really weird system down here in Australia, but basically you've sort of got to teach remote, and then you guarantee, well, not guaranteed, but there's every chance you'd be able to move back closer to home. And
I see.
The place I was at had some staffing issues, and couldn't move back closer to home. So I decided just to have a little bit of a break from it for a while, and then took up this in the interim. Like I took, you can take sort of leave without pay just to find your feet and see what else you might want to do, and if you want to go back to it, you can go back to it. But ended up started selling cars at Toyota, so been there nearly 8 years now.
Once you get into sales, you're like, this is actually really good. I'm making some money here, and I like it. I like talking to people. Yeah, I'm in sales too.
Like trying to get an Umbreon on VMAX.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's that story. And then with Pokemon cards, obviously just continued through, and then really, I suppose, like most people, it was probably around 2019, 2020 when I really started putting some sealed boxes away. Probably a lot of people started doing the same thing, but the amount of boxes I opened in the past from, whether it was EX, a few Diamond and Pearl, XY, it's just like, learned the lesson the hard way.
Yeah.
And I still get the itch though. It's so hard not to open, that Cosmic Eclipse booster box I've got there. That's got to have.
It's got to have some bangers in, man. No, don't listen to that voice in your head, man.
Got to have the Arceus, Dialga, and Palkia inside there.
It's in there, yeah. Well, hey, let's open up and find out. I mean, we're open on the.
Yeah, right. That change of pace, live stream. We're opening.
We're going crazy. We're going to open up the stuff on the shelf behind us, but.
Yeah, and that's I guess that's almost taken us up to now, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I bought as many Sun and Moon ETBs and Sun and Moon booster boxes I could get, and then moving into Sword and Shield to, I suppose, moving into more heavy positions, especially some of those mid-era Sword and Shield boxes: Chilling Reign, Fusion Strike, Brilliant Stars, Evolving Skies, Astral Radiance, Lost Origin, etc. So, and hey, we're all, I suppose, reaping the rewards of that at the moment. If anyone bothered to listen to me,
yeah, I think a lot of people are. Yeah, especially, I mean, the last 6 months has been incredible, right? Like, really, a lot of people are very happy. So it might not always be that way, but it is definitely a great time right now for the sealed investors and collectors.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, what are your goals for your channel, like moving forward? Like, I mean, you've established a huge following. I think you're like 12, 13,000 subscribers. Like, your videos always do really well. Like, people tune in, they want to listen to what you have to say. So, what's next for you?
Yeah, it's a bit of a fickle beast, and I'm very much a boomer. My technological skills, my editing
Mm.
skills, mate, they're not as flash as yours.
Oh, mine are
I had a
bad,
job where
man. I just built a PowerPoint and then put it in there.
yeah, we're no Mr. Beast, so
Yeah.
but I don't know. I feel like we've still got plenty of ideas and thoughts to share, and there's always going to be new sets of Pokemon cards coming out. So the
Yeah.
plan of attack, I guess, I would love to move to a place where certainly not be greedy about it, but the plan would be to someday, like, if you could 10x the channel, that would be phenomenal. I think my videos generally average, maybe 4,000 to 5,000 views. So if you get them to a place where you're averaging 40 to 50,000 views and the community grows to, maybe over 100,000 subscribers, it's really hard because we've picked a niche. It's not like someone like, Unlisted Leaf here in Australia or, PokeRev in the United States, where that's just a fun video where people can just watch, whether you're a kid, whether you're an 8-year-old just thinking, oh, PokeRev's opening such and such, or Unlisted Leaf's opening, 1,000 packs of Pado and Fates, or whether you're a, 35-year-old just getting back into the hobby going, oh, this is sweet, other guys my age are loving to still open Pokemon cards. So their content is like, I guess you'd almost call it like evergreen content. People can come back and watch it at any stage, or it's open to any age group, where our content's maybe a fair bit more niche, where we're talking to a pretty small audience. I don't know how big globally that audience is, but it can maybe get to a place where we might be able to get 100,000 subscribers. But I remember you've probably seen it as well and probably watch it, the Poke Investing Reddit forum. I joined that when we had under 500 members in there, and it's up to, I think, 80,000 now.
Yeah.
So I guess it shows there's 80,000 people in the world that are somewhat interested in Pokemon card investing. So perhaps our channels can grow to those sort of positions. Yeah. What about you? Got similar sort of thoughts?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I started the channel as a hobby. I mean, I looked at, obviously you're one of the content creators I looked at that really inspired me, and I do want to come back to that a little bit because I think you're a bit of a reluctant hero there from watching a couple of your videos recently. But I mean, I've seen guys' videos pop off. I mean, you've had some monster videos, man. I mean, your investing mistakes one, which is a good video, but like I think you have so many better videos, but that one popped off, man. Like it's like almost 100,000 views. So I know there's people there that are going to watch this stuff, and you have the ability to grow that. And I think it's just building community and kind of just being consistent, right? And that's one of the reasons I want to do these Apple Juice breaks, is I think because there's a lot of us in the space right now, and I'm not just going to interview guys that do investing, but if you want to go quick, you go alone. If you want to go far, you go together. So I think collaboration is really important. And yeah, anyway, that's me. I like to grow it and just chat to people, really. I like making myself laugh in my basements. But I did want to ask you, so I think you did a video, I think it was the Pokemon cheat code or something like that. No, sorry, it was the one before that. And you actually talk about people that they like myself, they make channels, they're inspired, you want one of the creators that they look at. And you were very candid. You were like, look, that's great and everything, but that's not the goal. I'm just here to kind of help people out. So how do you react to, or how do you process it when people say like, hey man, you're the reason I started doing this? Like, how does that make you feel?
Yeah, it's almost like a bit of a hard pill to swallow. Like you said, I never think of it that way. And to be honest, I don't put too much thought into it because I suppose I'm in a job where I talk a lot. I've always had a job where I talk a lot. And just like to share thoughts and ideas. And, if it resonates with people, well, that's amazing. It's quite a humbling sort of feeling. So I'm certainly not going to stand here and bang my chest. But, yeah, it's quite humbling when people sort of say stuff like that. And it's always appreciated. It means a lot. So, but, yeah, it's hard. It's hard, almost a hard pill to swallow.
Well, you're very modest, man. You're very modest. So what's your favorite era? Like if we look at like all the eras out that you've lived through, like what would be your favorite and why?
Well, it's a clear winner for me. It's definitely EX era.
Yep.
That's where I've opened the most cards. That's where it's so hard though. Like, of course, there's your childhood era, which is really hard. You can't replace that nostalgia of pulling, like a rookie. One of my favorite cards is Rookie Dragonite. That was the first fossil holo I pulled. Like, you can't replace that nostalgia. Team Rocket, that was a bit dark and eerie when that came out, and I pulled a holo Dark Charizard when I was younger, and you can never replace those feelings of nostalgia. Like, you can't beat that sort of stuff. But when it comes to actually favorite era, like, just look at the artwork through the whole EX era. Like, it's just phenomenal. The Delta species, this new spin where Charizard's a darkness type, Dragonite's all of a sudden a grass type Pokemon. Like, it was just, I don't know. It was the first time that it added a new element to, I suppose, it was weird because it was quite a dead period. Like, it wasn't a hugely popular period back then. And it's funny because supply was everywhere, but demand was quite low. So, but the supply was low compared to what it is now, if that makes sense. So it was a funny sort of era. Like, it was still, when I was 22 and, sets like maybe EX Dragon Frontiers or something like that, it was still sitting on the shelf. Like, booster packs were on special for $3.99 and the set was, 3 or 4 years old by this stage. In some cases, 5 years old. And, that's why people that have just got into the hobby really recently, and they stress about, Fusion Strike's probably a beautiful example, because that reminds me a lot of a set like Holland Phantoms back in EX era, or Phantom Forces during XY era. And Psychic Ghost sets have just been notorious for doing really, really well across the years. And when you've got fan favourites like Gengar, Mew, Espeon, it couldn't go wrong. Like, did it get the accolades it deserved at the time? No, because it was, surrounded by evolving skies. But that set was never going to perform bad. So for people who go, I bought Fusion Strike for, and it hasn't moved for 18 months, and, just, it doesn't, like, Holland Phantom didn't move for 5 years, probably, and then when it did move, it barely moved at all. It wasn't until recently that a lot of, vintage sets really started to take off. But definitely my favourite era of Pokemon, EX era. It's, if I could rewind the clock and keep a lot of those sealed, I'd certainly still have them sealed, and they'd be hard to sell them. Like, it'd be so hard to sell.
Yeah. Well, that's it too. I mean, once you get to a point, you've talked about this a lot, but liquidity is going to become a challenge because the number of people that can afford or want that product gets significantly smaller. So that brings me to my question on what are your goals, I guess your financial goals for what you're investing in right now? Like, what's the point where you're going to say, hey, I'm going to sell? Is it when Fusion Strike hits 400 US, or when it hits 1,000 US, or what's the point? Or are you going to try and sell it all as your retirement fund, like Alex from Nomadnomics? Like, what's your thinking?
That's sort of the goal. I've almost got a similar take on it to him. Like, I understand there's so many different ways about it, isn't it? Like, if you bought a Fusion Strike booster box, and I'll just talk US dollars because it's probably, most people on my channel are US viewers, but if you say you bought it, just round figures, $100 US, and then it gets to $200 US, and you bought, again, just plucking numbers out here, you bought 10 cases, so you got 60 Fusion Strike booster boxes. So you've gone from, whatever that works out to be, 60 times 100, what's that, $6,000 you've spent on Fusion Strike booster boxes, and you sell them for 12. Minus shipping and fees and everything else in between, maybe you've pocketed 10. So you're $4,000 up on your Fusion Strike investment. Do you then roll that into, say, something like a Temporal Forces, which is arguably the best Scarlet and Violet set behind Paldea Evolved, excluding 151, of course, main set? Do you roll that into something like Temporal Forces at, $80 or $90 a booster box and just keep doing that every 3 or so years? Or, do you just let that Fusion Strike booster box continue just to increase in value and wait for the numbers, so the supply just to, drop off year by year by year? There's going to be more people chasing Gengar, there's going to be more people chasing Espeon, and before you know it, you've got an extremely rare product. The listings on eBay goes down. I've seen it with those Ladder Sun and Moon sets. Like, when I bought my Cosmic Eclipse booster box, which you can't see here, but it's over there, all the unified mines, all the unbroken bonds, you could get a fair few of them on eBay. Like there was 20 plus listings at 300 Australian dollars or 350 Australian dollars, which is what probably 210 US. Now you look on there and there might be you'd be lucky to find 2 for sale in Australia, Cosmic Eclipse, and they're probably going to be $1,600 Australian, which is 1,000 US or 1,100 US. So it's like in the space of 3 years that goalpost has moved so drastically. So for me, I don't, without sounding arrogant, I don't need the money by flipping Pokemon cards. I think some other investments over the years have performed quite well for me. Obviously, I've always worked hard. I've never been given anything, but I've always worked hard. So, but I don't need to sell Pokemon card product to make an extra $5,000 a year to just fund life. For me, it's more a hobby. I love looking at the numbers. I love just going, oh, sweet. I've got 40 Fusion Strike booster boxes, and they've gone from 160 Australian dollars to you can't buy one for under 300 Australian dollars now. So it's cool to look at. Where's the exit strategy? I don't know. I even find it hard to sell. Like even if someone asked me to sell one of my Fusion Strike booster boxes, I'll be like, nah, no way, because this thing's going to be $2,000 one day.
That's it. I get emotionally attached to them, right? I'm like, man, it's not like
they're all little babies.
Yeah, the stocks on the screen, it's like, oh, I don't care about you. Yeah, goodbye, Starbucks. It's like, but this is like, no, I can't get it. Yeah, it's like, I don't want to leave you. So, yeah,
exactly.
It's like that moment in the anime when that friggin' when Ash has to let go of his Butterfree or his Pidgeot or whatever. I'm like, no, I don't want to. I don't want to do it.
And then the saddest moment when he lets his Charizard off in the Charizard Kingdom or whatever it was.
Jeez,
and we actually realised.
Yeah, a little more ruthless, that kid. He could have a friggin' winning team straight away, but as soon as they max out, he lets them go. So
yeah, I know. Doesn't make a lot of sense, does it?
So I'm ignoring the comment section, so I'm gonna get to it a bit because we've got quite a few people joining. There's a beautiful moment that's happened, Michael. It seems like people have put us on while they organize their bulk collection. So Bastois is saying that, a couple of other guys here. Bulk time. Danny says PokeOz is the type of guy who takes a photo and says that's a Kodak moment. I like that. How did these kind of comments start? Because I see them on every video. There are a few content.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it started with Drake, didn't it? Wasn't that where it started?
I have no idea. Like I have no idea. Is that what it is?
I think so, because I googled it. So I was like, oh, mate, I'm such a boomer. I try to, of course I'm on social media, but I try to stay off it, and I don't watch any free-to-air TV. It's always just pick and choose YouTube and Netflix, and I don't know. So I googled it, and I think it started with Drake. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. People probably know more than what we know, but I'm pretty sure it started with Drake. People was like, yeah, that type of guy to. And it started with this guy, Bentley. He's gone on a bit of hiatus, so he hasn't done one of my last 4 or 5 videos. So we're wondering if he's okay.
He's got to come back, man. We've got to hunt him down.
Bentley's got to come back.
Maybe he's run out of ideas. Maybe he doesn't know what else to say.
Yeah, he's Googled them all.
He's a victim of his own success. So what do you make of this team? You've seen the Team Rocket trademark announcement, I'm sure. This new Team Rocket set that's supposed to be coming. What were your initial thoughts? There's very, very few details, but what were your initial thoughts?
Yeah, personally, I love that sort of stuff. It's funny because it's like everything that's old becomes new again, and we're seeing it in the car industry, particularly US viewers. You guys have probably already got these on your road, but I know this is a slight bit off topic, but it relates to the point I'm trying to make. The Land Cruiser Prado, which is, I don't even know if you get them in the UK. I presume you do.
What is that?
Anyway, so it's well, for us, it's now going to be one of the biggest Land Cruisers. So we got the 300 series here in Australia, and then we got the Prado. The Prado is going to be the same size as 300 series. But anyway, long story short, the all-new Prado is a massive retro throwback to an 80s Land Cruiser.
Okay.
Toyota Land Cruiser. So it's funny. Everyone wants, what's old becomes new again pretty quickly, and people attached to, oh, that was the car, that I learnt to drive on my dad's knee. And so it's like, it's that retro throwbacks. And we've seen it obviously with 151, this throwback to the original 151 Pokemon, and just, how successful that was. So I think, if you're sitting in the marketing meeting or you're COO of the Pokemon Company International, and you're going, okay, well, we've got investors to listen to, and, I've got 46 Ferraris in my garage, I want another 12. What's going to make us money?
Yeah.
And you're throwing ideas around the table, and you go, okay, Paradox Rift was a bit of a flop, and this was a bit of a flop, but hey, what's spun us the most money this year? It's 151. Why? Because it went absolutely bonkers, because people want that nostalgia hit. It brought new people back into the hobby. Kids still remember it. It's funny, like, my mates' kids that are, maybe 7 or 8 year olds, they know all the original 151 Pokemon. They know Psyduck and Pikachu, obviously Pikachu. They know them all. Don't ask me how, but they do. So I think this whole plan is to piggyback maybe on that whole premise of what's old becomes new again. And, whether it's so many people after that original 151 come out, were like, well, okay, let's do Gen 2, let's get a remake of, everything from Gen 2, for Alligator and Typhlosion and Meganium and Lugia, etc. And same can be said with Team Rocket. It's like they've done the 151 and now they want to do Team Rocket segments. So I can't wait for it. Like, I don't know what it's going to be called, but obviously we had Team Rocket, and then we've had Team Rocket Returns. Team Rocket's blasting off again. I don't know. What are they going to call it?
Yeah,
I'm pumped. It sounds like good news to me. Like you said, there's extremely little details announced, but hey, if they do something like that, I'm all for it. Like, if we can have some dark type Pokemon back, Charizard gets overused, as we all know, but imagine a dark Charizard or dark Umbreon. Like, let's do it. All for it. Dark Dragonite.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. I'm keeping an eye on the comments too here. So we got some type of guy who takes his iconic thumbnail stance of sitting to the side next to my grave and title the video "Poke Investor Dead: How to Pass Down Your Poke Investments." Oh, you guys are funny. Dark Rocket, yeah, a lot of love for the Rocket stuff right now too. And yeah, I'm drinking Kirkland apple juice.
Yeah, Rocket's Revenge. There you go.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, no, I'm pumped for it, man. I hope they follow this kind of linear fashion, and we get, your Neo Genesis, we go all the way through, because there's a lot of love to give to Gen 2. Man.
It makes, from a company's point of view, like if I was sitting on the board, which I'm not, but if I was, and we wanted to make money, I think it's a no-brainer. Like, you can't overdo something. You've got to, you've got to time your run to build it up. But if twice a year, so say there's, maybe not even twice a year, maybe once every 18 months, we get that. We've had 151, and then we get the Rocket Returns, and then the next 18 months we get like a Neo, like a Gen 2 sort of set. I think it's going to be phenomenal. I'm all for it.
Yeah, love that. 251. I was going to ask you, so, oh man, my mind went blank. I'm not functioning early in the morning here.
It's only 5:30 a.m. I'm shocking at that time in the morning.
So what do you make of the market manipulation kind of stuff? So a lot of talk out there right now about, people are manipulating everything. That's the only reason the values are so high, is what people are, some people are saying. What's your take on this? Should people be worried about it?
I don't think, like, it does. Of course it happens. I think you're burying your head in the sand if you think it doesn't happen. But I can see both sides of it. My point of view is it's not a bad thing, and we shouldn't be worried about it. That would be my initial statement and advice to people. We've seen market manipulation in the car world, where, if supply on something, you can almost create this artificial scarcity on something by, if you hold a fair share in something and hold it from others that want it, well, obviously it eventually or essentially pumps up the price of it, which, we see that. We see, what's the most recent example? Maybe something like a Morty's Conviction from Temporal Forces. Like, it it looks like, you don't have to be maybe a genius to figure it out. It looks like that card just got, completely bought out on a lot of sites, and it's absolutely pumped the price up to like an unreasonable price, more than what that card should probably be worth. And I don't know, you just got to wait those things out. But it's all good. Like, it's all good. Those things happen because Pokemon's popular.
Mm-hmm.
You'd rather those things happen than the opposite, which is no one's buying anything. So from my point of view, I think, people shouldn't be stressed about it. And it's actually a good thing. It means there's more and more money being pumped into the hobby. And if there's more money being pumped into it, it means it's popular. And if it's popular, it's going to be worth something in the future. So I don't think people need to worry about it, is my position on it. What are your sort of thoughts?
Yeah, I think very much the same as you. I just, the only thing I would add is I believe that, when people see these numbers shoot up, just check yourself a little bit before you wreck yourself, kind of thing. Like, just because it's all of a sudden gone up a ton doesn't mean the card that you wanted before you didn't buy for whatever reason you now need to jump on. Like, there's every chance, because investments can go up, they can go down, they can go sideways, right? So I wish TCG.
That's the definition of FOMO, hey?
What's that?
That's the definition of FOMO.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I do wish TCG had something that said, "Hey, warning, this listing is increased X amount on this many sales. Like, just use caution before you buy, because some people do they don't have to right manipulate the market, but some people do buy up lots, and then maybe they could have some resources. So people who aren't educated around it, or people who just click on it for the first time or whatever, they come back to the hobby, so they don't get kind of ruined a little bit. Because some people, they FOMO, they spend $100 too much on a card, and then they leave the hobby because they get sad, right? That's not cool.
Happens in every life. It happens on the share market as well. It's like, it's always when you're new at something as well. Like, if you're new into the share market and maybe you got advice that you made or off someone else, or you've read some article about some shares absolutely pumping in price, so you jump on board with it, and before you know it, it either stagnates or comes back down to earth to a more realistic price, and then you go, well, you can't make money in the share market. This is no fun, so you quit. And the same thing happens in the Pokemon card investing space, particularly if people buy singles. Sealed is a completely different kettle of fish, in my opinion. Like, I think it's so hard. Like, people talking about, artificially pumping the price of sealed products, so much of it.
Yeah.
Like, maybe you could argue something like Lost Origin, maybe, like, just, day after day, week after week, people were just buying case after case off Pokemon Center until one day it's out of stock. Maybe you could argue that's a little bit of market manipulation, but it's not like one person bought 40,000 cases of Lost Origin to clear out Pokemon Center stock and now holds all the aces up their sleeve. It's individuals wanting to buy it. So that amount of purchasing power from so many individuals is only going to mean good things for the hobby. I don't think it's something we should stress about.
Yeah, I agree as well. That's a short-term thing as well. Positive for just interest overall. And it's funny you said that about stocks as well. I mean, that happens on Wall Street every day. Like, I've been losing money in the stock market for years. So yeah,
I suck at stock. Sometimes I've had some good wins, but
yeah.
Predominantly I suck at it. So
enough to keep going.
Why would you park your money in something that you don't know? That's what I've learned about the share market. You've got to know something well, and it's like people that. If you're into sports betting, people that bet on, like, Chinese women's volleyball, like that's when you know that's when you know you're in above your head. But if you're betting on something that you know really well, you're going to give yourself a much better chance of winning. And the same thing happens in the share market, and the same thing happens in Pokemon card investing world. Like, I can't remember when the video was done, but literally one of my first tips was, before you even park some money, maybe park some money, buy a couple of your favourite cards just for the sake of it. But before you actually get into investing, like, really hone your craft. Like, I'm not saying we know everything about the hobby, but the more you can learn and listen, and hey, I still learn stuff every day. So the more you can learn and listen before you start pumping all your money into something, the better you're gonna go.
Yeah, 100%. I think a lot of the investing strategies as well. I mean, the key theme for me is just make rational decisions, guys. Like, think with a cool head. Like, that's kind of your first step.
Yep, correct. I mean, if you're a collector, doesn't matter about the price. You buy with
Yeah.
emotion, but if you are truly into the investing side of it, you do probably need to make some more rational decisions if your aim is to eventually make some money off it. But I don't know, like, if you've got a long-term strategy, you know, buying temporal forces for $85 or $90, it ain't going to make that much of a difference, really.
Yeah, I agree. So family fun, Jess is asking if you have any tips on Chinese women's volleyball.
Oh, it's just an ongoing joke, isn't it? We've all got those mates that probably punt way too much, and punt's probably an Australian word, is it? Do you guys?
Yeah, I don't know. Like I've never really watched Chinese women. I know you're just giving it as an example, but yeah, I got to stay away from the gambling side of things because I don't do risky packs or anything. I'm like, damn it, like ripping packs is enough gambling for me.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I don't. We have the AFL Grand Final, so shout out to any Aussies that are watching. We have the AFL Grand Final each year, which is a massive sport down here in Australia. And yeah, I always place a bet on that. Other than that, I don't bet. But what I'm getting at, we all have those mates that just they love a punt or a bet, and they're, you know, if there's nothing else on, they'll bet on the Chinese women's volleyball. No tips though. Sorry, no tips on it.
So changing gears a little bit, I did put up on my Instagram. I put up, you know, if anyone has any questions for Michael, they're not going to be able to make the stream. And one question that came up a few times, Michael, was people want to know how do you maintain that incredible head of hair? Because when you wear it down, sometimes I see the blonde in there. Like, you got a great head of hair, man. So what's the routine like? How do you maintain it?
Yeah. Making the most of it before it's not there anymore. That's the plan. Hey, what's that website? Temu or Wish? What's that? What's that cheap? It's like the Brad Pitt from Temu here.
It is, yeah. Hey, it's great, man. Yeah, it's great.
Nah, I don't know. I'd always wanted long hair. I've only had it for probably 3 years. I was similar to you. I always had the fade up, like, you know, the 1 through to a 2 and a 3, and you know, the prep school boy sort of haircut. And I thought, nah, hey, one day, who knows? One day I might not have it anymore, so I might as well grow it out. And it's been, I think I've had one trim in 3 years. I'm very due for a trim now. Very, very due for a trim, and I don't know, just condition it every once in a while. And I'm a typical boy though. Don't put too much thought into it.
Yeah, good. I like that.
But well, that's great. Funny. I love that. Always love a bit of banter. I always cop a bit of banter down in my comments. So.
No, I like it too. Well, someone, PokeTroop actually asked. He asked, what would happen if an Aussie and a Brit had a baby? What kind of accent would it have?
Ooh. Well, depends where you grow up, of course, doesn't it?
It's true, yeah.
But if they hypothetically like grew up in this vacuum household where it's just mum talks British and dad talks Aussie, I don't know. Maybe that's an experiment to be had.
Yeah, that's it. My kids.
What did we say? How long did it take to grow my Jay Quasar? A long time, longer than I thought. Especially because I started with a 1. So if you're thinking about doing it, it took probably. There's a real awkward. You just got an awkward 8 months, because I used to get it cut like every 2 or 3 weeks being in sales. So they like to keep looking fresh, and so I'd cut it every 2 weeks, and then you get that awkward stage, or if you don't know what to do with it, and you try and tuck it behind your ears, and it just doesn't stay, and then you look like, I don't know, Nick Carter from the Backstreet Boys in 1998, and it's a fail. So, but it took about
kind of funny. He's like, when are you going to get that cut, mate?
Yeah. Took about maybe 10 months before I could tie it back. Jay Quasar.
So
how's the juice?
The juice is good. I'm nearly done this one. Yeah. What's your? So that's what I was going to ask you before I finally got it back. So we were talking about like content creation. Now, what do you think of the idea that, it's guys like you and me, guys that are opening packs like the PokeRevs, like saying, invest in this, or this is really good, like driving kind of FOMO. Do you think that we are contributing, or content creators in general are contributing to the mass buying of sets, like Lost Origin, you know, going out of stock, like Brilliant Stars going out of stock. So individuals rush on it and jump on it. Like, do you think that we are? I guess you think we're to blame, I guess, is the question.
Yeah, I certainly don't think we're to blame, but I certainly do think we play a part in it, don't we? Like,
yeah,
I don't think we can hide from that fact. And someone brought up a comment, or maybe it was on one of my videos, or maybe it was on someone else's. I can't remember, but no, it was on. I think it was to do with PokeRev. Maybe it was even the OKJ Love chat. And you know, they talked about, okay, well, you know, PokeRev mentioned about that the Umbreon old art.
Yeah.
From Evolving Skies, not the VMAX, of course, but the V, which is a cool looking card, arguably nearly as nice as the VMAX card. But you know, people talked about how PokeRev mentioned it, and they broke it down. Okay, let's say 300,000 people watched that video, for argument's sake, and if only 1% of them decided, hold on, I hadn't actually noticed how nice that Umbreon V card was, and decided to go and buy themselves a copy. What's 1% of 300,000? 3,000 people, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So 3,000 people, and if there's only, you know, 50 copies on eBay for sale or 200 copies on TCG Player for sale, all of a sudden you get way more demand than what there is supply. And what happens then? Like, it's economics 101, isn't it? You know, the price of that will go up. In terms of sealed product, you know, you mentioned maybe something like Lost Origin, how we're all saying, you know, buy Sword and Shield booster boxes before they're out of stock, because, you know, they're going to go to the moon, and, you know, everyone sees the rockets in the in the thumbnails, and
yeah.
I don't know, like, I still think the biggest opening and base for Pokemon cards is still predominantly kids. Like, you'd be just guessing to guess the percentages, but my guess would maybe still be that, you know, 70% of all Pokemon cards that get opened would be kids, and maybe 30% are adults or investors buying them, but the rest is still kids. So straight off the bat, it's like 70% of products probably going to get opened up by people just enjoying it, which they should. And there's plenty there. We're not blocking other people. This is one comment I have. We're not blocking other people from enjoying the hobby. We're certainly not blocking kids from enjoying the hobby. There's so much of it printed. You know, for things still to be on Pokemon Center 2 years later, you can't make that argument that other people can't buy it. Like, it's there and it's available. So, but yeah, I think we have a small impact. I wouldn't say it's a massive one, but I think it's a small impact, especially, you know, that last supply of Lost Origin. Everyone was like, click, buy a case. Until when's it going to run out?
They were just going, man. Yeah, they were just going. Yeah, and I think sometimes people confuse the investors for the scalpers, right? And it's like, that's not it.
100%.
Yeah.
Massive difference. Yes, you know, literally the definition of scalping is that, you know, you buy the product so no one else can, and then you can resell it for a higher margin.
Yeah, and that's not cool to me, not at all.
No.
So Chance says, good morning, Chance. Someone asked up here, 151. Are you guys buying Japanese 151 right now? And I mean, I am because it's gotten lower. I'm not going crazy because I have a bit that I'm already underwater on. But what about you, Michael?
Yeah, I bought some more.
It's too good to buy up, right?
Dollar cost averaging is my argument with that one.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling myself.
We all probably bought a bit of it, which is now, you know, worth less than what we paid for it, which is fine. You know, it's such a fantastic set, and I think, you know, the news coming out, there might be possibly another small reprint around the corner, perhaps in July.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens there. And I don't know, the Japanese market's been a funny one lately. It's almost like they don't want to see this appreciation on sets. Like, they keep, you know, V-Star Universe and other one, they just keep pumping it out there, don't they?
Just keep going. Yeah, V-Star was.
Yeah, it's no longer that nice sort of niche side of it. But that's why I haven't been investing in Japanese. It's mainly just English booster boxes. But, you know, Japanese 151. Pulled on the heartstrings with all the Master Ball hollows and a few other bits and pieces. So, yeah, I did. I bought some more recently and dollar cost averaged myself, and I'm happy with the average price per booster box I'm sitting on, and if it goes a little bit lower, so be it. And then, you know, in 5 years' time, it's not going to worry me in the slightest, because I think the product will perform me just fine.
Yeah, I feel exactly the same. Exactly the same. So, I want to talk to you a little bit about the opossum bud video. So Nick did a video, and I've only spoken to Nick a few times. He's a very genuine, nice guy. He did a video on the investing mistakes, and you were featured in it. And I believe he referred to you as a Giga Chad hombre, which I have no idea what that is. But what did you think of the? I don't know where he comes up with this stuff. What did you think of that video where he's going? I think it's you, Alex, and a few other guys. He's like, oh yeah.
Yeah. He's one of the great wordsmiths, isn't he?
He really is, yeah.
He really reminds me of a guy I used to work with that I got on really well. One of the great salesmen, one of the great wordsmiths as well, could just talk himself underwater with a mouthful of rocks. And I don't know, what's the saying? All publicity is good publicity. You certainly, when you're in your mid-30s, you become very hard to offend, don't you?
Yes,
so
yeah.
I take it all with a grain of salt, but it was a shame I missed out on saying g'day to him in the big OKJ Love investing chat. But yeah, it was funny. I was just sitting. I don't know. It was late at night because obviously the time difference. His upload. I just got this email at I don't know 10:30 p.m. at night here, just saying, "Oh mate, you've just been, you know, my possum bud's just done this," and I thought I'll better check out the video, but. I don't know, he didn't say anything negative, so...
No, he didn't, no.
And I think I had a few people jump to my defence in the comments. I didn't bother commenting myself, so... Yeah. But, yeah, I was really looking forward to joining that chat, which was a shame I missed out on it, but...
Yeah, that was...
Yeah, it's funny.
Sorry, go ahead.
I don't really know what a Giga Chat is, so...
Yeah, when I was in the Discord chat and saw a few people land, and I was like, "Hey, is Michael going to be coming? Like, can we get Michael in this?" Yeah, that's well, we gotta figure something out, because I think you guys, like, having the two of you, like, I think people that watch these channels regularly, they watch the same channels, right? It's the same faces they see, and, you know, that's it. So I think it's just cool when, I'm as a fanboy here, right? Like, even now, like, talking with you, it's like I've got my fanboy hat on. And yeah, seriously, like you see your favorite faces, it's just cool. Like, oh wow, like PokeOz talking to a possum bud, or with Alex, or, you know, other people, or OKJ Love, right? So I think that's pretty cool for people.
Yeah, it's that comment you made at the start of the stream. Something about, you know, when we walk together, we can achieve. Yeah. Oh, I can't remember exactly what you said, but
oh, you got it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, I think it's fun. It's also cool to, like, you know, guys who make videos every 2-3 days or every week, you get the grind, man. You know what it's all about, so you can kind of, there's an appreciation there. Yeah.
Yep, 100%.
It is. So Wavert's actually asking about the Team Rocket set. So yeah, we chatted about it a little bit earlier before you joined, mate. But we're both really pumped for the Team Rocket set. So
you might have to rewatch Rob's stream.
Yeah, go back. Yeah, make sure you click on the ads too. That's
and it's got some. I think there's going to be like a Pantene Pro V ad.
There will, yeah, Pantene. The team who's got out. Yeah, we'll see Brad Pitt. Instead of Brad Pitt, it'll be Michael just doing like the wave, even the hair there for you guys. What's a grail for you right now? Like, do you chase grails, or is there a grail that you're looking for one day?
I was hoping you would ask this question, and I know I relate everything back to the car world, but see, I like to think of it as like two grails: one realistic, one that you can actually get, and one that's like, okay, if I won lottery, then I would spend my money on it.
Yeah.
So for me in the car world, growing up, obviously being a massive Fast and Furious fan, I've got two realistic cars, and it's a shame because it's a really hard video series to do. But I started a series a while ago called $600 to a Supra.
Yes.
And the plan is to finalise it. I'm not quite tracking towards, so I was going to do an updated video on that pretty soon. I'm not quite tracking towards my goal, but anyway, an R34 Skyline or a Supra, like a Mark IV Supra, is, I suppose, a realistic car that I could get. The grail, of course, the only one I could get if I won lottery and would be a McLaren F1, you know, playing Need for Speed growing up and That was the fastest road car for a few years, and that's the absolute grail. But I don't know what they go for, probably 25, 30 million US at auction if they ever come up. So when it comes to Pokemon cards, my number one grail would be the Gold Star Rayquaza in a PSA 10. I don't care for trophy cards all that much. I know there's some more expensive cards around, but that's like the main set grail card for me. In fact, other than a first edition Charizard and maybe a first edition Neo Lugia, there can't be a more expensive main set chase card shortly in a PSA 10. That would have to be sometimes is it Torchic, the other hard Gold Star grade? Sometimes that goes to
there's only, I think,
$1
I feel like people are probably going to correct me here, but I feel like that's gone in the hundreds of thousands because it's there's only a couple of them, right? Like in a 10.
Well, one sold recently for, I think at PWCC for a really high price.
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly how much, but it sold for a fair bit. But yeah, the number one grail would be the Rayquaza, and then typical boy growing up, I was always into Dragon type. Like, you know, it's just, you love the Dragon sort of Pokemon, the ones that can beat everyone up. So a more realistic grail would be a PSA 10 first edition, like rookie Dragonite, or even, which I was probably going to shout myself soon anyway, even a PSA 10 Dragonite from Evolving Skies. The artwork on that is phenomenal. So they're probably some realistic pickups. The first edition Fossil Dragonite will be a touch dearer, but yeah, I was going to treat myself to the Evolving Skies Dragonite PSA 10. I think that is a really, really nice artwork.
It's gorgeous.
Arguably, I mean, Evolving Skies, hats off. I know, you know, it's gotten so much love, but it's arguably one of the greatest, if not the greatest Pokemon card set with artwork ever made. Yeah, pull rates suck, but man, like line up the top 20 chase cards, and line up the top 20 chase cards from any other set. Is there better? I don't even think Team Up's top 20 is nicer.
No,
certainly not nice to look at.
It's funny as well because there's no Zard in there.
Correct. Yeah. Crazy, isn't it? How bizarre. You say how bizarre.
So is Ray Ray your favorite Pokemon then? Is it Ray Ray or is it one of the other dragons or like if you
probably Rayquaza would be Rayquaza. Yeah, it's all the dragon. Rayquaza, Dragonite, Gyarados, Charizard. Like it's typical boy growing up.
Yeah, no, I feel you on that. I feel you. So, I think Chance in the comments asking, he just got I can't find the comment because I don't know how to work my computer properly, but it's he said something along the lines of he got a Leafeon VMAX from Evolving Skies back, and he got it in a 10, and he's wondering if he should sell it or not. So this, I guess, the alternate art. Is it time to sell these alt arts in your opinion? What do you think?
Well, it's so hard to say because it's you're putting it's like picking a straw, isn't it? But if history were to repeat itself, you know, you could argue something similar will happen with these pumped up Sword and Shield old arts that happen with Sun and Moon old arts. Mm-hmm. Like it's just history repeating itself both on the sealed product and the singles product. And that's why, you know, I'm so much more involved in the sealed side of it because, you know, supply is just going to dwindle and dwindle and dwindle. But a lot of these Sword and Shield old arts have made massive gains in the last 6 months. And there's every chance that some of them will come back down to earth.
Yeah.
So, what's that? Michael, about to make the Dragonite boom now.
Actually, Michael, I'm looking at it now on eBay. Like, since you said that, like, there's been 10 sold in the last minute or so of these Dragonites. What are you doing?
Dragonite V, hold up, from Evolving Skies, bang.
This is going up.
But yeah, to answer that question, I think, you know, if you look at all the top sort of Sun and Moon old art chase cards, as well as some of those really nice waifu and trainer cards, a lot of them have come back down to earth a little bit. And there's every chance, in my opinion, that could happen with the Sword and Shield cards. Like, they've just gone to crazy price. Like, will Blaziken VMAX from Chilling Reign hold its massive price? I think its PSA 10 price and maybe even its raw price is dearer than Gengar's from Fusion Strike at the moment. Like, can it really sustain that price?
Yeah.
Can Leafeon sustain that price it's got?
It's crazy. Yeah, I don't know. I sold a few recently. It's always good to take profits, right? So I mean.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. You know, you only make money or lose money when you sell something.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you've got the profits, to answer the question, if you've got the profits that you wanted from that Leafeon, You know, if it's $100 up, or if it's $50 up, and you're stoked with that, and it's going to mean that you can either continue collecting more, or investing more, or park that money into something else, and you're happy with it, then by all means sell it. You don't want to. You don't want to watch it on the way down and think, yeah, better sell now. No, I'll hold a little bit longer, and it drops. Yeah.
That's a terrible feeling.
Yeah.
So we got Beefy Tacos here is asking a good one here.
Yeah, do you think it's better to grade a lot of evolving skies and other set art? You might have to read that. Sorry, mate.
Yeah, Beefy's asking, do you think it's better? We're both like going right up to the screen.
Showing our age now. Get the glasses on.
Yeah. Do you think it's better to grade a lot of evolving skies and other set alt arts and sell the grades you get back, or sell the cards raw as opposed to grading? He says he bought them at about 50% of the market value, so he has big gains already. So I guess, is it better to grade them or just sell them raw if you got 50%?
I get. So basically, I'm just plucking a number out there, but say you've got 20 alt arts from Evolving Skies, maybe a couple of copies of some, and you bought them at 50% of what the current market price is, and you're thinking you might send all 20 of those off to PSA to grade them, and hoping that 10 of them come back as 10s. So, I mean, really, you've got a gamble on your hands there, don't you? Because quite often, a lot of modern chase cards in a PSA 9 will be worth, like, it's a pointless exercise almost. By the time you pay for the cost of grading it, and then by the time you sell it and cop the small fees and postage on it, it's no different to selling it raw. It's crazy how that happens now. So unless you go bang and get a 10, and it's hard to know. If you've pulled them yourself straight from the pack, the data suggests that Sword and Shield cards have about a 58% chance of returning a 10, which is very different, mind you, to Scarlet and Violet chances. I haven't looked at Temporal Forces, but a lot of, like, previous to Temporal Forces and before, so Paradox Rift down to Scarlet and Violet base, was more like 35 to 38% chance of returning a 10. We've all seen it. We've all opened Scarlet and Violet, the new Silver Borders, and they're just, most cards are off centre, even the commons. And it's just like straight away, you're not going to get a 10 because your centering's off, even if everything else is perfect, which quite often it's not either. But I don't know. So if you pulled them yourself and they've gone straight into a sleeve, straight, like 60% of them, based on the data or just under, should return as a 10. If you've bought them raw, like even mid copies of TCG Player or eBay, I mean, you can sort of assess them yourself, can't you? Almost. Like, I know you're not a grader and we're not graders, but we can all check centering. We can all check the surface under the right lighting for maybe perhaps potential scratches on it. We can all see whitening on the edges, particularly if we get out, magnifying glass or something to get a real close look at it. So that's what happens. People only send off copies that they think should return as a 10 with a lot of modern chase cards. So, because there's no point getting a 9. I don't know. If you think it's worth the risk, mate, hopefully that answers your questions.
Yeah. No, the only thing I'd add is, like, just get good at looking at it, man. Get under the light, know what you're doing before you sub it. Like, some people just say, like, oh, it's got to be a 10 because I believe it's going to be.
Because I pulled it.
Yeah, it's like, we all have the prettiest.
That's the only good card I've ever pulled, so it's a 10.
Yeah. 1 sec. Hide current comment. Let me go up here. There was a comment in the chat. I'm just leaning over my laptop to see if I can grab it here. So someone, there we go. I made it go up. Someone was asking. So Reef was asking about which. Do you rip a lot of packs? Like, do you do like a fix around the new set, or do you just, like, I don't rip anything? Like, I'm teetotal on the ripping, like.
Used to.
Yeah.
I've opened enough. I know it sounds bad, but I've opened enough Pokemon cards across the years. I don't have the, well, I do have the itch, actually. I was in, we have Kmart here in Australia. I don't know what you have in the UK, but I know in the US it's Walmart. And I bought heaps of, they had a special on the new Twilight Masquerade blister pack, so I just bought a heap. I was just, I don't know. I might open roughly a booster box probably worth of cards of a new set, and that sees me through. The rest, I don't have that itch anymore. Like, I have the patience where I can just sit them. There's other storage facility. Obviously, I've just got one of sort of each here, but there's other storage places where I've got heaps of boxes, and it's just, no, I don't have that itch anymore. I open roughly a booster box of each new set, and I've actually been, opening some other things lately. The new Dragon Ball new Dragon Ball Super sets. I love the, I know this is Pokemon, of course, but the Bandai artwork is just, the card texture is phenomenal. I almost feel like Pokemon lags behind a little bit when it comes to that side of it. But no, yeah, roughly a booster box. That'll see me through of each set, opening it, and if I pull something good, I'm not great at pulling hits. I'm the worst at it. So you're lucky I don't stream it, because if you want to see a stream of no hits, I did open some Silver Tempest recently and opened and pulled the Rayquaza, the Trainer Gallery Rayquaza, which I was stoked about. That's a really nice card. No Lugia, but I'll take that. I'll take the Rayquaza. That's probably the best card I've pulled lately. I have no luck.
No, that's good. That's good. Yeah, I'll do a booster bundle usually.
Yeah, I was going to say, how about you?
Like that's about it. Like if once you reach a certain point, you just have to you can't stop, and it's just like, what have I done? Like, yeah,
you just chase a hit, don't you? You're like, oh, I didn't get a hit here, so maybe next box I'll get a hit.
Yeah, I did that with Obsidian Flames, that Charizard. I was seeing everyone on social media friggin', oh, we pulled the Charizard again. I pulled so many of these. I was like, well, I can't pull it like 3 booster boxes later. Oh, damn it.
Mate, you've got the same amount of luck as me then.
Yeah, that was not good for sure. Do you play the TCG? So someone was asking if you play the game.
Not anymore. Used to. I still play Magic the Gathering. That's about the only TCG I play now is Magic the Gathering. But I used to play heaps. Obviously, growing up, I used to play heaps of Pokemon with my friends. And even when I got back into it in the EX era, like through college and stuff, I was still playing the TCG. Quite often headed down to the local game store, which we don't really have that many around anymore. But yeah, I was playing heaps of Pokemon, heaps of Magic the Gathering, like when I was, 18, 19, 20. I haven't really played Pokemon since then. It's not a huge thing here, like in my local city. Magic the Gathering's still fairly, got a decent sized player base, and it's probably, I don't know, maybe there's a bit more adult based strategies inside Magic the Gathering, which intrigue me a little bit more. But no, I don't play heaps of Pokemon. I try and keep an eye on the meta and see how, the card mechanics and how things obviously still. If I had some mates that played it, yeah, I'd love, let's make a deck and see what we can do and have a bit of fun with it. But yeah, I've got a couple of mates that play Magic the Gathering, have a bit of a go with them, and then occasionally still head down the local card place and get my backside handed to me by people that spend a lot more time and money making better decks than I have.
Yep, like a 12-year-old girl or something. It's like, oh yeah, what a good feeling.
Yeah, exactly.
So
how about you? Do you play? Are you like you?
I don't. So when I was so my oldest daughter is 5, so she's still a bit young.
A bit young.
This is gonna sound terrible, but I give her the bulk, and she's big into crafts, right? She's all about crafts. She loves her drawing and sticking things and the Pritt stick. She cuts them up, mate. She's like, oh, I want this one. Like, I'm gonna cut the little person out and stick him in. I'm like, oh, whatever. She's happy.
This Umbreon VMAX.
Yeah, no, I don't give her the VMAX, but yeah, I saw that on Reddit the other day. It was a couple of weeks ago. I don't know if you saw it as well, but someone was selling a cut in half VMAX Umbreon, and they were calling
it. Yeah, so it's funny. Like it was all the craze, the YouTube shorts and the TikToks where people would just get like a pack of Evolving Skies sealed and just cut it in half. And then what did we get? Oh, damn it, we got the Umbreon.
Yeah, crazy. I see guys drilling into tins and like, oh, what do we get? It's like, man, that's Anyway, whatever gets you the clicks, I guess. If they're trying to push the traffic to their store or whatever, sure.
Yeah, Cool Trainer Ryan did it for a little bit. I think he was just like got the bandsaw out, got the got the drills out, every tool known to man. Yeah, anyway, bit of fun, isn't it?
I like him. What do you like to do for fun outside of Pokemon?
Oh, mate, mad golfer.
Yeah.
If I didn't have to work and I earn enough money from YouTube, which I certainly don't, I'd be playing golf every day that I possibly can.
Yeah.
Although my form's been terrible lately, absolutely terrible. But anyway, that happens.
What's your handicap?
It's gone out currently in Australia to 8. I used to play a lot more. It's hard with work and everything that gets in the way, but I used to play a lot more. The lowest I've ever been off my GA was 3. Which, I used to be pretty handy. Now, like, I don't practice anymore. I don't practice at all. I just go out with my mates. I still play tournaments, comps, put my name down with my mates, play, you know, once a weekend, 18-hole comp, and sometimes it's 75 I shoot, and sometimes, or more likely than not, it's 85 that I shoot lately. So, but anyway, it's a bit of fun. That's what I love doing in my spare time. Obviously, this is a massive hobby. Like outside of work, work's pretty full on. If you're in sales, you know, you're always working a 50-hour week. You know, your phone and email doesn't really stop. So this is a massive hobby. This is a huge sort of, you know, release, I guess, from the other stresses of life. I suppose it takes you back to a bit of an easier time, the childhood times. So there's that. Obviously, golf. I try to go to the gym 4 or 5 nights a week. That's a big sort of, I suppose, stress release to keep moving and keep active. And then, yeah, I like a lot of adventure sort of stuff. Do a lot of hiking as much as I can. I realised a really funny trip story.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
There's like this this local forest where there's this ropes course, like an adventure course.
Yeah.
And there's 3 levels to it. You have green, blue, and black. And, you know, all the kids, you know, 10-year-olds and stuff do the green course because it's only sort of 2 or 3 meters off the ground. It has obstacle, you know, you hook yourself on, latch yourself on with a harness, go around. And then I thought I'll start on the blue, which is probably about 10 meters off ground level, which was still freaking me out. And anyway, but it was fine. Did it. All my confidence was up. Decided I'd do the black levels. And just to get up, they're about 18 meters off ground level. And just to get up to them, you had to like just climb this tree that just had like planks screwed into the side of the tree. Climbed up it, got to the top, got through the first obstacle, which was like some horizontal netting that you had to, you know, clamber across. And then I just froze and realised I had never realised it before. Just had it seemed like I had a massive fear of heights, and the only way to get down was, of course, to finish it. So as soon as I finished that, I sort of took up hiking a little bit because it's like, you know, if you're scared of something, you should try and overcome it. What's that saying? A little, you know, a taste of or little bits of the poison is the antidote, or, you know, a taste of the poison is the antidote. So I thought, you know, I'd take up hiking and more tricky or treacherous hikes where, you know, if you fall, it could be, well, hopefully not the end, but you know, hurt yourself pretty badly. So I took up that probably about 4 or 5 years ago. So I do a lot of hikes. That's another thing I do in my spare time. How about you, mate?
I'm not.
What do you, obviously the kids would keep you busy.
Oh, I'm not as much of a thrill seeker as you. If I got up to that black level and I was up at the top, I'd probably be dead, mate. Like I'm so scared. I'm so scared of heights.
Yeah, no way.
I'd still be up there. Yeah, no, kids keep me really busy. Yeah, I got a 5 and a 2-year-old, and yeah, they're awesome. But they keep me very busy. So yeah, most of my nights are spent at the park with the kids. Got a couple of neighbors that we're close with. You know, I like English Premier League. Big Man United fan. So
Man U, yeah.
All my sins. Yeah. Do you follow it at all, or are you more into the rugby?
Yeah, no, I do. It's I probably actually follow. We call it soccer in Australia, but football. I probably follow like European football more than I do Australian football, to be honest.
Yeah.
I miss Man United's glory days. You know, Nani.
Oh yeah.
Steve Ronaldo, Rooney.
Scholes, yeah, that's those.
Yeah, Paul Scholes.
I miss Rio Ferdinand.
Rio Ferdinand in the back.
Oh, Rio was you got murked. I remember him. Yeah, he's Rio. What a guy. Yeah, no, I do miss those days too. Yeah, those are the last.
Mate, that was the glory days, and you know, Chelsea had Frank Lampard work in the midfield. You had Drogba and Essien, and just Michael Ballack in defence. Those were the good old days.
Those are great. Yeah, Drogba was a powerhouse, man. What a frigging player he was. Like, well, Chelsea had a great team. They had a lot of success in that same time period, right? Like, kind of like Liverpool and City now. Like, they've both been kind of driving each other.
But yeah, so I still another hobby. I love playing FIFA. FIFA again, mate. And I don't know. PSG feel like a bit of a hack lately, and then Man City, like Haaland, he's not great. Like his dribbling and everything's not great on. Can't weave in and out of people like Messi, but you just get him the ball or get it to his head and he seems to score. Like it feels like a bit of a hack having Haaland or Mbappe.
His finishing's top notch.
Yeah.
So actually, Jess is saying, like, are you actually a United fan? Would you consider if you had to pick a team, or is it? Don't say City, all right?
No. To be honest, back in I haven't followed, or I don't follow it as much as I used to. But I was a United fan. I did used to go for United. You know, C-Ron. I more follow players than teams, which is a funny sort of thing. But yeah, I probably it was Madrid over Barcelona in the Spanish league. It was Man U in the English league. That's sort of where my loyalties lied, I guess.
Glad to hear it. Yeah, we'll get those glory days back. I saw Mbappe's going to Madrid as well. I don't know if you saw that. Like, Madrid,
I think
just unstoppable.
confirmed, is it?
What's that?
I think it's confirmed, isn't it?
Yeah. I think it was yesterday or day before. Like, they
they got
on a free transfer.
Wow,
crazy.
Wow, you got to the biggest players in the world. You got to have a go at Barcelona or Madrid. You got to have a go in the EPL. Yeah. It's just
they want to.
Your career's not going to be complete without it.
Yeah. So the only I appreciate your time. I know you probably got stuff to get on with and get ready for the day tomorrow. But I wanted to talk about DBZ a little bit, Dragon Ball, like because you're. I see your. I don't know if it's in your new room. I haven't spotted it there, but I remember the old setup you had. Yeah, you had quite a bit of DBZ at the top. And like that's right up there for me with Pokemon. Like some of my best memories coming home from school watching the Saiyan Saga on friggin' Cartoon Network. So like where would you say you're a bigger DBZ fan or Dragon Ball fan than you are of Pokemon, or like how does it rank for you, or what's your experience with it? And really any excuse for you to talk about it, basically.
Definitely the anime, yeah. Like I've watched so many more hours of DBZ than I have Pokemon. In terms of the trading card game, when I was buying all the EX era stuff, I was also buying heaps of Score DBZ. I don't know if any viewers know of this, like the Score product. It was from 2000 to 2003, the Dragon Ball Z stuff. That is, Saiyan Saga through to Kid Buu Saga. It was so cool. Every single Saiyan Saga, Frieza Saga, Trunks Saga, Android Saga, Cell Saga, blah, 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 all the way through to Kid Buu Saga. And every single saga had a different fall pattern for the rares. And then the Ultra Rares were about as difficult to pull as a Gold Star Pokemon in EX era. So you roughly got one per case. And Cell Saga, for argument's sake, had my favourite card, which is Vegeta Revitalized. So those boxes that you see, they're Score boxes. And it's funny because to relate it back to Pokemon a little bit, so many people, I got asked this question the other day, what do you think will happen if the Pokemon card franchise stops? So all of a sudden, I don't know, 5 years down the track, the shine's worn off. People aren't buying Pokemon cards as much as they were anymore. And all of a sudden, the company announces that A, the anime is stopping because, it's done, and B, which I don't think is going to happen. I cannot see it happening, but let's say hypothetically it did. And then B, the TCG stopping. There are no more Pokemon cards being made. Look, everyone's going, oh, does that mean they're all going to be worth it? I honestly think it's almost going to have the opposite effect. I think they would. And the same thing happened with, like, if you look back at DBZ Score, it was a pretty short time period. And I know, lots of things throughout the COVID boom went up, lots of collectibles went up, and DBZ Score included. But those booster boxes are just at an unreasonable price at the moment. They still go for an unreasonable price, even though demand for them is so low. Like there can't be too many people looking for Score Dragon Ball Z booster boxes. Back in the day, there used to be a fair few, but there can't be that many now. So even if Pokemon goes to a place where they stop, I don't think it's going to matter. Like people will go, I think it's almost going to have the opposite effect, isn't it? It's like, oh, hold on, we better buy some Pokemon cards because they're not making them anymore. Same thing, and relating it to the car world, V8 Land Cruiser, Toyota Land Cruiser here in Australia, if you're in Australia and you're watching, like it sounds like we've got an end date where they're not going to continue that car anymore. And it's like the old V8s. I don't know, you guys have pretty strict emissions laws in the UK, so you probably don't have any V8s you can buy, but us Aussies love our V8s. It's a bit like America there. We love our big cars and big V8s, and the moment they say they're going to stop one, it skyrockets the price. Yeah. So I think it'll have the opposite effect. If Pokemon stop the card game, it's like there's no more the potential of infinite Pokemon cards to come along. It's stopped. There's a finite amount. So what's there is there. So I think it's almost going to have the opposite effect.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, just like the rainbow cards. I actually wanted to ask you about rainbow cards real quick too, because a few of your videos you do mention rainbows. It sounds like you're not a fan of rainbows. So, Michael, why do you hate rainbow cards so much? What's the deal here, man?
Well, hate's a strong word, right? But I don't know. They just personally, actually, I prefer them over XY full arts, and that's probably a bit of a controversial statement to make.
Yeah.
But it's personal preference, isn't it? Like most people, you'd almost be silly to say, "Oh, I don't like Sword and Shield old arts." I think you'd almost be silly to make that statement because generally, 99% of people go, "Wow, like the artwork on these is phenomenal." Even the new illustration rares and special illustration rares, even though there's not many, I suppose, well-known Pokemon so far made into illustration rares or special illustration rares, a lot of them are the modern, the new Chaldean region Pokemon. But you're still silly to say that the artwork's not good because they're still, especially look at Temporal Forces, the Raging Bolt, Nine Leaves, etc. The artwork's phenomenal. You can't take that away from the artists. It's amazing what they're doing at the moment. But go back to the XY era, and I don't know, those, the full arts with the megas, with the Japanese writing across them, I don't think there's a great deal of artistic talent there. I know that sounds like a very controversial topic. So I like those less than I like rainbow cards, and same thing, I don't think there's a great deal of art. It's like, let's just splash some glitter over the card and then it makes it rarer.
Yeah.
But for kids, kids probably love it.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine if a kid pulls a rainbow card, they'll be like, yes, like, sweet. Whereas from my perspective, it's just a personal taste thing. I'm not having a go. Like, it'll have their time in the sun. Probably someone like, look at Charizard GX from Burning Shadows.
Yeah.
Big price card, big money card. Maybe my Burning Shadows booster box has one inside there.
I think it has one. Yeah, I've been looking at some of my blisters. I'm like, I'm pretty sure one of the 3-packs. When the packs shift, and it's like, oh no, I can't get it to get back in the right spot. I'm like, there's probably
I got a few of those. Is it Meowth? I think they get the Meowth coin in the Burning Shadows.
I can't remember the other one that's on there, but yeah, and it's the Meowth one as well. So I'm like, I can't open it. It's got friggin' Meowth in it, but
Meowth one of the OGs.
But that's a tempting one. So but it's funny you said that about kids. Me and my daughter, we pulled Lady, the trainer, the rainbow trainer. I can't remember what set it's from. It's Lost Origin. One of the lady trainer. Her little face. She was like, oh wow. And she wanted to take it to bed and cuddle with it. I'm like, yeah, that's the little psychological programming there for the kids with those rainbow cards. But I like
we were saying before, like realistically, probably 70% of people that open all Pokemon cards are probably still kids. So from a marketing point of view, and us adults might go, oh, the artwork's not as nice as the old school EXs or the old school holos or the new school alternate arts, but for kids, they're going, sweet. Like, I've got a whole folder, a full 9 pages of rainbow cards that I've put.
So, final question, and I'll let you get back to enjoying your evening, is if we were, obviously you weren't able to make the OKJ Love stream work, but if you could do a live with a couple of creators in the space, blue sky, like who would you want to talk with? Obviously I'd be on there, but who would you want to have in there?
Definitely you, Rob. That's penciled in as number one. But it's fun. Like, there's so many different ideas, isn't there? And there's so many backgrounds. It's funny because I feel like everyone can take their own background, whether it's a sales background like mine, or I'm not sure what you do for a day job, but you put your own.
I'm sales.
I've watched a fair few of your videos, and you put your own spin on it, which is really good as well. So everyone, someone like Rudy from Alpha Investments with that Wall Street sort of background, everyone puts their own spin and take on the hobby and the investing side of it. So to answer your question, I guess other than yourself, of course, I'd love to pick Rudy's brains. I guess he's seen as although he doesn't spend a heap. Well, he does have a massive Pokemon card investment, but he doesn't spend a heap of energy on Pokemon. It's not his. It doesn't. Well, from what I can tell, it doesn't excite him. It's his most recent video is it's boring now. Like, I just buy it and it goes up in value, then I sell it to my Patreons and I make money, and then I do it again. Like, but I would love to pick his brains on it. Like, he's the man, isn't he? I don't think from a private position there can't be anyone. Maybe there is. Maybe there's some private sort of collectors that have more, but from a there can't be too many people that have a bigger position in modern Pokemon booster boxes than what Rudy has. So he would definitely be one, and he'd be very hard to argue against if you're on the opposition.
I wouldn't want to debate that guy.
No, no, he's incredibly intelligent. He's a really good wordsmith. He certainly doesn't mince his words, and he's quite witty to go with it. So he would catch you on the back foot pretty quickly, I think.
Yeah, 100%.
There's some other guys. Cool Trainer Ryan, I think, likes to play the larrikin a little bit, but I also, if you look behind that, he's an incredibly intelligent guy with a lot of, talent and time in the hobby. So he would be really interesting to talk to as well. Yeah, and then maybe someone like an Unlisted Leaf or a PokeRev, just not even to do with the Pokemon investing side, but maybe just the YouTube side. Like, how did you guys start off with? Like, how did you? What did you do to, help grow your channel? Was it, I know those guys have that more evergreen sort of content where they've, catered to lots of, but they would be, cool to talk to get that side of it as well.
Yeah, I think that'd be really cool. I think so many people are interested as well in the content creation piece, like wanting to start and not knowing how or all that stuff. So yeah, I agree. I think those are great picks, mate.
And it's hard, mate. Like, the moment you feel like you might have somewhat uncovered the code to YouTube, which who knows what it is. Like you said before, I just had one video that, you post up a video and they follow this trend, they go up, and then they pretty much peter out and stop. And, you might trickle along at 1 or 2 views an hour after that. But when they start, they come out of the gate hot, and then they pretty much just stop. And this video was doing the opposite. It just kept, for me, it kept going and going and going. And then videos I was posting after it seemed to piggyback its success. And it was just, and then since then, I haven't had a golden period like that. But it's like, how do you keep that momentum up? How do you, and for content creators starting, it's such a grind. And this topic, which is a really niche topic, maybe there's 100,000 people in the world that care about Pokemon card investing. How do you capture that audience as yours? How do you do it differently to the other 50 people that are doing it? How do you trust, like, some people, how do you build that trust in the community that you actually know what you're talking about? And if you're giving out advice that people actually will take it on board. So it's interesting, right?
It's really true, man. It's a lot of sales though, man. You got to build your trust and credibility at the start. You got to make friends with the customer or the prospect, and you just got to grind it. That's it. Like, just grind it. And if you're not enjoying it, don't do it. Because you got to be doing it for a long time.
100%. Yep.
So, but Michael, I am so grateful that you took time out of your day to spend with me, to spend chatting with the guys. Like, you're an absolute legend. Like, I got to have you back in the future. See if maybe we can get some of the guys you mentioned. I'll hop on the phone to Rudy now and see if we can bring him on.
Get him on stage, Doc.
I'll be like, hey, come on, man.
Yeah, no, really, mate. It's a cool segment you've got going here, and I'm honoured to be the first guest to be part of it. I hope when you post this video up that it gets a heap of views. And hey, if you wanted to, and this is probably more than something that I can text you about later, but if you wanted to cut it and shut it and send it through to me in a file, I'm more than happy to put it on my channel and send it your, if I've got some viewers that maybe haven't discovered you before, considering on the other side of the globe, maybe they might want to jump along and listen to your stories and intelligence and takes on the hobby as well. So I'm happy, if you want to email it through, I'm happy to put it up on my channel as well. That'd be sweet.
And you are an absolute legend, man. I truly really appreciate it. So yeah, thank you so much for joining. And
You're welcome.
I guess I should finish off with a cheers. I know I'm actually drinking water now in my tea. We should probably do it.
I've still got the water down here.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Cheers, mate. All right.
Okay, speak to you soon.
See you, buddy. Bye.